Hello, everybody. Welcome to some more inconsistent Bookworm, and I know I can't help it. The shirt's kind of giving it away. Although I kind of said it in my last thing. We're going to talk about Dragon Ball. Of course, as you know, I read the 3-in-1 volumes. It's a lot harder to get a hold of these single volumes unless you go to secondhand stores. And there you might get one, you might get two, and then you're going to be sitting there looking around for the other four 47, 48. I think there are altogether. Honestly, it's cheaper and easier just to get the 3-in-1s. And not only that, but I get to experience the story a little bit, more together. And get to see, how Akira Toriyama, how some of his, thought process were going in certain things. And those who do remember my original review of the first three volumes, I thought it was good. I did not think it was great. And I thought there was actually a number of problems in the fact that there were a lot of pervy fucking jokes in it. And yes, I know Japan has different ideas on what is pervy. They allow a lot more adult humor in their cartoons, for lack of a better way to put it. But it always struck me as weird that Dragon Ball was always majorly aimed towards, kids. Like the first few bits of Dragon Ball are, there is some more mature material, but it is very obviously aimed at young children. And for lack of a better way to put it, it's weird that you would have so much sexual shit in there. That's awkward, to put it lightly. Here, since this is the wrap up of the first, pretty much, I think it's the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi a tournament, World Martial Arts Tournament. That's how they call it in the original dub. It's the wrap up of that and also the beginning of the Red Ribbon arc, both for good and bad. I always tuned out when it came to the Red Ribbon arc. I'm just going to put it to you this way. It's not that it's bad. It's not that it's the worst thing ever. It's, it's none of these guys ever felt like they were major threats to Goku. Always that was a issue that I felt throughout the anime, mind you. Reading the manga, these guys actually feel like a bit more of a threat. They not only have a massive fucking army that you do consistently see. You do see it in the anime. Just it's the best way to put it. Like it seems like Goku is easily able to always dispatch them with not too much issues. Here they do get their shots in on Goku. They actually do sometimes pose a threat. And also you get the introduction of Ader, and Ader is absolutely adorable still with Goku. And yes, Goku, he was always annoying throughout the beginning parts of Dragon Ball because he's so damn dumb. Here, he never felt like it felt like he was maturing slowly but surely throughout the World Martial Arts Tournament. He always felt like he was starting to get a little bit older, a little bit wiser. Maybe he'd be a little bit taller. Maybe he'd be a baller. I'm old. So here, I actually dug it a lot more. I actually enjoyed the introduction of the Red Ribbon Army because it felt a lot slower. It felt like it just started kind of building up into something. And not only that, but the World Martial Arts Tournament, I felt like since it wasn't just split across so many damn episodes, it's a issue Dragon Ball has always dealt with the fact that they're just stretched so far fucking thin. Don't even get me on the fucking fight with Frieza. Oi. But here, with it a lot more condensed, a lot more, streamlined, there is just a ton of really good martial arts. There is a lot less shtick, for lack of a better way to put it, because 90% of the fight with Jackie Chun, Master Roshi, disguising himself, most of that was just them kind of, doing shtick throughout a good chunk of it. Here, there is genuinely Goku and Master Roshi really going at it. There is genuinely Krillin and Master Roshi really going at it. And that is fantastic. Also seeing Yamcha actually be somewhat less of a absolute just schmuck, for lack of a better way to put it, and actually pose a semi-threat almost. Though you realize just absolutely how, easy it is to beat Yamcha still, because Master still manages to defeat him pretty simply. But with you know, all of this, like the World Martial Arts Tournament felt so much breezier, so much less of just this long, overdrawn, for lack of a way to put it, mess of a arc. It's like because it's just condensed into altogether about like three and a half ish or so volumes, you get just a quick, easy to read arc that you're like, all right, that felt great, that felt good. You almost actually wish there was a little bit more added to it. They didn't need to add as much as they did. But here it's just you get just the right amount of fighting, the right amount of shtick. Where they're in not only that, but the comedy that they have, it's a lot funnier. That is the best thing I can say. Where the first Dragon Ball three or so volumes, I would say probably the first two more than anything, where the comedy was a lot of misses, very few hits. Here, the comedy felt a lot more dialed in. Where it was being, where it was trying to be funny, it felt like it was actually genuinely being funny. And whenever it was trying to be action packed and have some drama to it, it accomplished this. It felt like there were actual stakes involved. It didn't feel like, Goku and Krillin were just plowing through dudes and then all of a sudden there was a massive difficulty spike and they couldn't get over it. No, it felt like they genuinely were, trying their best and they were able to accomplish through their own tenacity, their own power. That is one thing that I think the manga has always understood a lot better than the anime did, even though I still love the anime. And I would be remiss if I don't forget the fact that this volume does have one still issue here. And that is still the weird, like, fucking sexual stuff that still comes up every now and then. I don't want to harp on it too much because I will admit it is so much more subdued. But near the end, there is still reintroduction of Master Roshi, Bulma, and all this stuff. And of course, we get some more of the panty humor and shit like that. And I don't care about it, guys. I just really don't. It's. I understand. It's Akira Toriyama's some of his funny stuff. But I felt. I was like, God, this was such a good 3 volumes here. Like, the fourth volume is like nothing but just good action happening, minimal amount of shtick actually happening, because it's meant to be about the World Martial Arts Tournament, and these characters are not just trying to have fun; they're legitimately trying to win. So all this goofing around wasn't as big of a thing anymore. Instead, it was actually just guys being badasses. Namu going against Goku and really taking it to him. Jackie Chun and Goku beating the living piss out of each other. That was so good. And only that, but they still would have their jokes, still have their little funny little quirks, especially how Goku would fight. Okay, cool, awesome. That's really good. That's very well done. And then I get some more sexual stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? There's barely been any of this, even with Master Roshi being a major centerpiece of Jackie Chun and all that shit, but I guess it was dialed back just enough that I was able to avoid some of it and be like, I don't have to worry about it. Then, okay, cool, I get hit in the face with a couple more of it. God damn it, Akira Toriyama. Why? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why do we have to sexualize preteens? Yeah, okay, yeah, rant over. Because beyond that, this is just a delight. This is so much fun. Great action. Really great character bits. Even though I still don't 100% care for the Red Ribbon Army, I think they at least feel like somewhat of a threat actually to Goku now. And on top of that, there are great characters within the Red Ribbon Army. They don't just all feel like a bunch of dumb stooges who are doing dumb shit for dumb reasons. And only that, but I actually care about all the stakes that are happening. I actually give a shit about Goku. Even though anybody can freely admit Goku's dumb. He's kind of one of the least important characters because he's always been that overpowered character that everybody complains most about. Here, it's just I get to just enjoy it. I get to sit back and enjoy good action, good storytelling, and I thankfully don't have to put up with Kira Toriyama's attempts to try and be funny by talking about a bunch of sexual shit with a bunch of teenagers or younger people. Kira Toriyama, I don't want to be on a list. Oh, but yeah, I have to fully say, like, this is a big step up. I think that was the things, like, because you could start to tell by the end or by the beginning of the third volume that Kira Toriyama started to pull more away from the constant just joke after joke after joke and actually began to explore more of the martial arts stuff. Especially since, let's just face it, it's still supposed to be sort of a play on Journey to the West, the ancient Chinese is tale is the best way to put it. I mean, hell, the main character's got the same goddamn name, Goku. At least translated in terms of Japanese. And, that's good. That's a good idea. Go with that. And don't just sit there and, I'm going to make these really awkward jokes that are not going to age worth of shit. I mean, hell, I know in the 80s this shit wasn't even that cool. In fact, it was kind of cringeworthy. I don't know why Kira Toriyama thought that this was going to age well at all. Like, people are going to be more into kids later. Ew. I'm sorry to rail on it and worry about it, but yeah, it's just weird that we still have to consistently deal with that. Maybe I'll be able to put up with it once we get closer to the beginnings of Piccolo, where most of the characters are at least over 18 finally. Well, with the exception of Piccolo to an extent, but not going to even get into that. But hey, I will at least be happy to say it's like, if you wanted to pick up some more of Dragon Ball, even though the first one, do it. This is actually really damn good. There is a hell of a lot of fun here. There is great action. There is actually good dialogue and good jokes when they're not trying to be this pervy bullshit. And on top of everything, you finally feel like Goku might be in a little bit of peril. That is one of the things that, is, good thing that they weren't able to do in the anime as much. Although I will still say, if I can throw out one thing, how Goku gets defeated in the World Martial Arts Tournament by just being too tired is so stupid. It is the dumbest thing ever. It's a writer's trope that I know we had to go through, but also it would have been better if just Goku was just kind of trying to get, and it just passed out, just from pure tiredness. That would have, I think, been more rewarding than Goku just popping up in the back, starts saying something, then he passes the right fuck back out. It was kind of funny, but I think this was not the moment we need funny. I think it would have been a lot more, that's badass, if he just, tried to, he just couldn't. Personal pet peeve. More of a pet peeve than anything. Not like a huge detriment. Because other than that, like, this is actually a much, much better 3 volumes than the last 3. And like I said, we'll see how the Red Ribbon arc ends up going, because I know we got, I think, like another volume and a half of it. But hey, we'll see what happens with that here or later on. I need to read it. And just so those who are wondering, eventually I'm probably going to cover all of Dragon Ball. It's going to be in 3 volume formats, and I will give my opinions on each one. But yeah, I will say it's like, so far we've had, in terms of arcs, for lack of a better way to put it, World Martial Arts Tournament arc has still just been fantastic. The Pilaf volume I didn't give 2 flying fucks about, because half the time it was just stupid ass jokes. Pilaf showed up in the last chapter, too. He showed up in the last chapter and a half. That's all it was. And the Red Ribbon arc just started. So I'll give all my thoughts once we get to the end. And I'll give them as we go, but still I'm going to talk about Dragon Ball as a whole by the time we get to it. Especially knowing that I've also been talking about another Dragon Ball thing, which we might decide to get into. But hey, until then, I'll see you all later. So bye-bye, everybody.